Welcome to another Groovy Tuesday down here in, is it cold today? Yeah, it is cold today. In cold Kent. How are we all doing today? Give you a few minutes to pull up a chair, grab a coffee, cup of tea, glass of water, orange juice. Yes, it's that time of the week again, Groovy Tuesday. And the last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed getting to grips with some of our beautiful duet plates that Josie has designed for us. And there we go, people are coming in now. Good morning, Helen. Hope the weather's okay where you are. The lovely Jill Wilding. Good morning, Jill. And that should be my text message to say yes from the lovely Jilly. The sound is good. Thank you, Jilly. If you have any questions, the lovely Jilly is in the room. She'll pop up any links of anything that we're using during today's episode, or if you've got any questions. I know some of the design team will be in the room as well. Good morning, lovely Hilda, Catherine, Phyllis. Oh, so many friendly faces. Brightens my Tuesday, it does. It really, really does. Just to have a nice hour of chilling out and getting in the groove. And I've really enjoyed your company for the last couple of weeks. But don't forget, if it's the first time of tuning in, you can go back and watch via our Facebook pages, Clarity Worldwide, Groovy Worldwide, Pergamano. You can watch on our Clarity YouTube page as well. So don't worry if you've sort of missed part of because we're on week 6 of using the lovely Queen Elizabeth grid, and where we've been completing our frame. So if you're coming in thinking, oh, it's at the end of it now, what have I missed? Don't panic. You really don't need to, because what we've been doing, let's have a look on the overhead. We'll put that on there. Let's have a look. And let's see, there we go. So this is the lovely little plate that we've been working on. And this is one that it's part of the Queen's collection. So we've got Queen Elizabeth, Mary, Anne, and Victoria. And when I spoke to Josie and said we're going to be having a look at some beautiful grids, I said, which one would be the one that everybody could get to grips with? And she agreed that the Queen Elizabeth would be the perfect one. And I've seen what you've been doing on Groovy Worldwide. It's absolutely magical. And I've got a few pieces here that Josie's done, the various different stages. See, you can just do the embossing. You can do embossing with perforating, continue it through, and then you can do your cutting out. And with all of our duet plates, you get this fantastic, first of all, you get an image, just this is what it looks like. And then you get a guide from Josie on how to do the cutting, if you wish to. So it's been really nice because we do so many different of the duet grids, and it caters from different styles, different widths, different elements to them. So let's just have a recap at some of the ones that we have available. So we have our kings. So this is what you'll notice is that they're different, but they're the same. Okay, and I'll explain what I mean by that. If it has like an L shape on the plate, what that means is that it's been designed on a straight grid. Okay, so all you need is just an L piece, because you can extend it, you can create boxes, you can create rectangles, you can create borders. Okay, so Edward is based on the straight grid. Buckingham is also, the palaces are also based on a straight grid. But what Josie introduced was these were the fantastic little photo corner elements. So what you could do is when you're doing your perforating, you can snip along that edge and pop your artwork behind. So it's like the photo corners. So that's the palaces. Then we have the princesses. Again, it's another L shape. So straight away indicates it's based on the straight grid. And these are all A5 square, and they will go in the plate mate that comes in your starter kit. Okay. Now, we have something different. We've got like a U shape. And this is our Italian cities. And these are based on a diagonal grid. And because it's based on a diagonal grid, the pattern can't be the same going across as it is coming down. So what we've done is we've introduced it as a U. And what that means is that you can continue going that way with that design, but if you want to extend this way, then you've got that opportunity to do so. Then we move on. I love these ones. These were the circular grids, and they've been, who was it? Glynis, the lovely Glynis Whitehead, did a fantastic step-by-step project over on the Clarity Matters blog, Sunday just gone. And she incorporated one of the circular grids with the lovely Linda's Flowers and Lace collection 3. I think it was the hydrangea she used. Sunday seems such a long time ago now. But if you're looking for ideas, inspiration, step-by-step projects, then every Sunday on the Clarity Matters blog, Gilly's just popped the link up for you. Thank you, Gilly. And there's fantastic. The design team, they really work their socks off, and they show us how we can incorporate different designs with different elements, whether it's doing pico cutting, white work, colouring, and you've got a step-by-step guide on that. And the circular ones, these were so popular when we launched these. When did we do these? I think they were last year, because the lovely Josie was in the studio doing those up on Craft Store as it was then, but it's obviously Create and Craft now. Then we go into our big A4 square plates, and this is the Prince's collection. Okay, questions out there? Is this based on a straight or a diagonal grid? Answers on a postcard, please. So L shape, it's based on a straight grid. Then we have these ones, French cities. U shape, diagonal grid. Beautiful, beautiful. And Jim added these gorgeous scrolls within the designs that absolutely beautiful. And then the ribbon lace ones. So 4 different ones of these. And the way that Josie designed these was that when you do your pico cutting, you could thread ribbon through. I don't know whether it shows it. Yeah, look at that. So you can, if you want to, you can add ribbon in to your beautiful lace frames. So I thought we'd just have a bit of a catch up on the various different types of plates and the sizes and everything else, just while everyone was sort of pulling up a chair and getting comfortable. Okay, so let's pop these to one side. Oh dear, how is everybody this morning? You all good? 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 Whenever I say good, I also go good for the lovely little Barbara's gnomes. It always makes me chuckle, that does. Oh, it's wet where Sally is. Glad to stay in on the warm. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, and welcome. So over the past 5 weeks, we're on week 6 now, we've been working with Queen Elizabeth. And there we go, L shape, straight grid, but really beautiful and delicate. And I've got a piece here that if I bring in there we go, if I turn that over, you can see what it would look like if you do all the pico cutting. But what I've been showcasing, so here's a piece that's completely finished from Josie. I remember last week I spotted that one of the little bits hadn't been snipped out. Never noticed that before. Yeah, that was funny. So this is what it looks like, just creating a rectangle. But as we know, over the past couple of weeks, this could be a rectangle or it could be a square. Okay. And that's what it would look like if you follow Josie's instructions to the T, with all the pico cutting, the white work and the embossing. But what we did was we only did a little bit of picot cutting. So what that meant was that people at home, lovely people watching and joining in and taking part, if you wasn't at the picot cutting stage, then this was Barb's idea when we launched the Duet plates, was to introduce these double lines on the outer part and the inner part. And what that meant was that you could create the design, but by having that straight line around the outside, it meant you could just trim it down with a paper trimmer or a craft knife and a ruler. And we did that last week, didn't we? I used the Pergamano ruler with the Groovi grip so that it didn't slip and slide and cut into my work. And over the past few weeks, I keep saying, well, we have over the past few weeks, we've been looking at the beautiful sunflower stamps. Barb's been focusing on those in the Shack, and we also have the lovely Groovi plate. And I thought this was a perfect plate to create a centerpiece for our artwork. So all proceeds, profit that we make from these two particular products are all being donated to the Red Cross to help with what's going on in Ukraine. So I know many hundreds of you have already purchased them, and Gilly will pop a link up if you'd like to participate in making that donation. Barb also said that if you wanted to make a card using this artwork and send it in, maybe £5, £10, £15, £20, whatever you can afford, pop it in the envelope, send it to us, and we will add it to that donation as well. Now, don't forget, don't write on the envelope, cash included, otherwise it may not reach us. Or you may just want to make a card. Just make a card and send it in. It's entirely up to you. Or maybe just make a card just for the sake of making a card. And over on Clarity and Groovi Worldwide, there's some beautiful artwork with what people's created using these. And I think for me, Groovi's always been that mindful process of being a distraction. And when you're working with these, it creates a different type of distraction, if you know what I mean. It makes you think how fortunate we are considering what's going on. So we're going to have a look at this one. We're going to look at the Groovi because we're on Groovi Tuesday. And I created this little piece of artwork very simply, make art, not war. And then I use the little border at the top to infill top and bottom. But I showed last week that if you just take a rectangle, you could add that border down the sides. You could make a complete frame if you choose to, or if you don't want to use the words, then you could, that centerpiece, the sunflower, just fits into that perfectly. And I like the way that Barbara described these designs that Jim created. It was like a parent and a child, the large mum or dad and the son or daughter, and it's sort of, and the way in which they're positioned, they're protecting one another. So yeah, Gilly's popped the address up of where you can send your cards and any donations you wish to make, all marked for the attention of Barbara. Okay, so I thought what we'd have a look at today is we're going to apply some colour. Okay, and last week I showed, it was a real coincidence, it really was. Let me just pop these in front of me. I had some scraps of our lovely rainbow paper to the side, but what was show? I can't think what show. Oh, focus. No, let me come back in. That went a bit funny. Let's try it again, shall we? No. Okay, what's up on there? Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Oh, that was strange. I thought my eyes were playing up. Apologies for that. Oh, hang on, can't get on my seat properly. I can't think what show I was prepping for, but these were just sitting on my desk. And I thought, you know what? The beautiful rainbow, it's got the blue and the yellow, the colours of Ukraine. And I thought this is perfect to add our artwork to. Now, if you've got the rainbow parchment as well as the paper, then this could have been created on a piece of rainbow parchment. And then you could use the paper to intensify the colour, or you could just put it straight onto a card blank. And then if I pop that on there, you can see it looks a little bit flat, doesn't it? So I took another piece of the paper, pop that behind it, and all of a sudden it jumps. Okay. So hopefully you've all got a piece of, we spoke last week to have a little panel to put inside our card. Now for me personally, I always do, whenever I'm working with any of the lace frames, I always do mine on a separate piece of parchment, so that if I make a mistake when I come to do the artwork to go in the middle, I haven't ruined that. But also it's great for practicing on and just making sure you could have loads of these ready. I mean, to me, that in its own right is a lovely little card topper. If I took a larger, have I got a larger piece? Let's just have a look. If I took a larger piece of the paper, let's just ad hoc here. Let me just trim that down a little bit. So let's have a look. Get a paper trimmer. Just to give you some ideas. So that's, I'm going to go probably about 4 inches on that. And let's stay with the blue area. So 4 inches. And I reckon 3 inches. But let's keep some of that yellow in. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's about right. I reckon. Rainbow parchment and paper. Beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And then if I took, sorry, I'm just reaching under the desk. Ooh. If I took a little 5x5 card blank, pop that on there, pop that on there. Really, really quick and easy. It really is. Okay. So if you're looking to make fairly quick and easy cards and you want to send them in, then just using that plate to create that topper doesn't take any time at all. But I thought today what we're going to have a look at, we're going to colour this in so that it sort of jumps out a little bit more. And I thought for people that are new or only recently joined us as a result maybe of watching Create and Craft and seeing some of our Groovi and Pergamano shows, or some of Barb's stamping and stenciling and die cutting shows. Maybe this is the first time you've joined us. If it is, welcome. And a really nice technique of colouring in with our Perga colour pens. Okay, beautiful pens, double-ended. Let me talk you through those. I know many of you already have these, so I'm going to take out a couple of colours. I want yellow, I want a blue, and then a dark yellow. So let's just pop those down. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the lids of 2 different ends. So you can see, let's come in on this camera. Okay, so they're double-ended. So one end has a bullet tip and the other one has a real sort of fine line type thing. And it's got like a plastic sheath around it. So it stops them from, like if you put too much pressure on it, stops it sort of crunching, so to speak. And my pens I've had for a long, long time. And they're really, really good quality. They're a water-based pen, which means that you can use them on your parchment. You can use them if you've got the stamps, you can colour your stamps in with that. You can watercolour with them. You can blend them. They are so versatile, and you get 30 in a tin, and it's a real beautiful rainbow of colours. Let me bring, I can show you the pot. I've taken some out, but for me, the most dramatic way of showing you, let's bring in my tool organizer. Because sad that I am, they are all they're all numbered, they're all in numerical order. So what I'm going to do, look, let me zoom out. I don't want to zoom out too far because my desk is a mess. Whee. There we go. So let's wiggle that over a little bit. So I've got them here, and I've got them there. Oh look, my micron pens as well. So it's a real rainbow effect. Colours, all different choices of colours. Okay, so let's pop that to one side. And if you've already got these at home, let me just zoom back in again. Way that way. Whee. Easy does it. Let's see if, oh yeah, that's really close. Okie dokie. Need to get some oil on these wheels. And the colours that I'm going to use today is the Perca colour number 12. It's got the little number on there. And it also has a little symbol either end of the writing to indicate whether it's the bullet or the fine. But then Glynis told me that one end of the pen has got like these ridges, and that indicates the fine tip as well. Okay, so we've got number 12, we have number 1, and we also have number 2. So these are the 3 colours that we're going to be working with. Now we can go direct to the parchment, or if you've got the stamp and you stamped out, you can go direct to the paper. Okay. But what I'm going to do is something that I don't know how it came up. Mix mats. Really, I definitely need to zoom out a little bit now. Let me zoom out a little bit. I'll get this camera right in it, like a yo-yo, up and down, up and down. Just zoom out. I reckon, yeah, there we go. So we're going to need pens, or if you want to use pencils, you can. I'm going to go with my mix mats, and I'm also going to be using our fantastic water brushes. Now, I'm using them without any, this is my set that I use that doesn't have any water. They've never had any water in them at all. Okay, and each one comes with 3 different size nibs to them. Yeah, we can see that, can't we? So you've got like a large, a medium, and a fine. And I use these dry. So although they're called water brushes, I don't actually put water in them. Okay. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the fine one. And what you'll find, if I take a scrap of parchment, I want to show you the difference. Okay. Because I think this is a really nice technique for getting sort of like a more softer look. Now, because we're working on parchment, it doesn't like moisture. So obviously adding water to the water brush is a no-go when we're going to colour in on parchment. If you want to watercolour onto card, then you can, but the mix mats are perfect for that. So we're going to need water brush, pens, scrap of parchment, mix mats, and our piece of artwork. Now you may decide to go with the pencils, so you can go with those. You can watercolor with the pencils, but I would suggest we go dry on the parchment. What else are we going to need? I think that's all we're going to need to get started on this. I'm just going to put this tin down. It's sort of getting in my way. Okay. Right. I have been waffly, haven't I? Sometimes you go into automatic. It's because there's no one to talk to. I mean, obviously I'm talking to you at home, and I appreciate you sort of finding time to join in. And if this is, oh, excuse me, this is the first time you've seen this, I think you'll really like it, and it's an easy way of working with the pens. Okay, so let's have a look. So if I take the blue pen, let's take the lids off of all the bullet ends. And I just wanted to show you something. So if I put some colour down on the parchment, okay, so this is number 1, that one is number 12, if I remember rightly, this is number 2. Okay, so this is direct onto the parchment. And if I pop a white piece of paper over, you can see how bright and beautiful and intense they are. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to get a more softer look to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the pen and I'm going to scribble it onto my mix mat. So let's go with the blue and the light yellow as well. Just pop my artwork just there. I'm going to take one of the dry water brushes, and now I'm going to pick up the colour off of the mix mat. And this is the number 2. So now when I apply to the parchment, can you see I've got a softer tone to that colour? Okay, so fortunately I've got 3 different nibs. So if I now pick up the blue, but can you see how it moves? Whereas see, if I try and spread this out, nothing's going to happen. I mean, this is just off the brush. It's not really moving. But if you pick it up off of the mix mat, you can get a real soft tone. And then if I take the third one and go into the lighter yellow, okay, and then it's definitely a lot lighter. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come in on this camera over here. So it's the same color pen. So that section here is direct onto the parchment. And then this one here is picking it up using the dry water brushes. Okay. So you've got options. If you want a real sort of intense colorway, then just go direct onto the parchment. But if you want to get a lovely soft color tone, then, I mean, you don't have to use a water brush. You could use a normal dry paintbrush to do this as well. But for me, the water brushes, they fit more comfortably in my hand. So what we're going to do now is take our piece of artwork, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to colour in the words. Okay, so I think what we need to do now is to go to the fine tip of the pen. See, that's why these pens are so good, because they're double-ended. And I'm going to take my Groovi guard. So let's go with I'm just going to lean in there. Let's move that to one side. And I'm working on the back of the parchment. Okay. And we're just going to colour in. So I'm going to do the M in the bright yellow. Then I'm going to take the blue. The blue is going to be the strongest colour, really. And then we'll go with the light. I don't know which yellow I went with now. Hang on, where's my scrap of parchment gone? Yeah, that was definitely the brighter yellow. And then all we're doing is we're just gently adding the colour to our design. Now I'm going to go blue again. This type of font is perfect for adding just little bits of colour. So I'm going to go yellow, blue, yellow. So while I've got the blue in my hand, let's add the blue there. yellow, blue, yellow, blue. So this one's going to be blue. This is where I mess it up now. Rather than do yellow, blue, yellow, blue. Okay, so let's put the blue lid back on. And then we're going to go the bright yellow. That's going to be dark yellow, bright yellow, darker yellow, bright yellow. Put the lid back on that one. And this is a darker yellow, darker yellow. So I've gone direct to the pen because I want the words to really sort of stand out and be more prominent. So now when we turn that over, see, on white, it looks rubbish, doesn't it? Because the white line art takes it away. So if I pop it on to that, where's my little piece that I'm going to use as my centerpiece? See if I come in over here now. So now look, I've got, where have I got that pen mark from? Oh no. Oh well, not to worry. I'm going to try and rub that out in a minute. So now we've added some colour to our letters. It's bright, but it's not too prominent. Okay. So now that we've done the intense colour, now what we can do is go in and add some colour to our lovely sunflowers. So for me, the Perga colour pens really do give value for money because for various reasons, you've got the double ends to them. They're water-based. They're not just for parchment. These are fantastic. If you've got children or grandchildren and you want to get them a set of colouring in pens, these are beautiful. They really are. And they're versatile because you can go direct or you can watercolour with them. And I'm sure there's lots of other things that you could do with them as well. But for me, working with parchment, this is all I need to do. Okay. So I'm going to work on the black so we can see what we're doing. And then I'm going to put the blue pen to one side because I know what I'm like. I'm going to pick up that pen and add some colour. So what I'm going to do now is, see, look, this is still active on here. And I'm just going to go in and start to add some colour to our petals. Okay. And then pick it up again and just go into the centre. And in a way, this is sort of like, it's not lazy colouring, it's a quick way of colouring. As long as you stay within the perimeter of the design. And because you've got these fantastic nibs on the water brushes, you can get right to the tips of those petals. But it also means that you can cover large areas quite quickly without it being too intense. Okay, so if I turn this over, so you can see now how very, very subtle, isn't it? But it's starting to just add. You can see them standing out, can't you? On there. This is my piece I'm going for. It's this little one. Let's pop that to one side. See? But in contrast, let me show you. I tell you what, look, let me show you first, and then we'll come back and I'll show you something different. Don't want to confuse myself. Okay. So who's joining in at home? Who's been making cards using the Groovi or the stamps? I know many of you have, because I've seen it on Facebook. And it's amazing how far the colour of the pen goes. It really is. All from that one little scribble. But what I like is it gives you that softness. I suppose in a way it's putting like an undercoat down. Now what I will say by using this technique is that the ink does stay wet for longer. Here is completely dry. This, I could take a tissue and remove it. Okay, so you need to be aware of that, because what you don't want to do is when I turn this round, I lean on it and it's all on my hand. I've lifted the colour off. So I would say you just let it rest for a bit. I don't know why it stays wet using this technique longer. Maybe because I'm spreading the colour out. I'm sure there'll be some scientist out there that will say, oh, the reason is, but we don't need to know that really, do we? We just want to get in and colour. Oh, I'm still picking up this colour. Madness. So let's turn it over now. So now we have that subtle, I mean, it's hot. What I need, let's take it just a blue piece. No, that's too dark. I want something. Okay, let's try that. So you can see, can you see? Yeah, you can. This is where we've applied the yellow on the top, and down here we haven't. But just by changing the colour of the background, doesn't it give it a different look? Look. See, I like the yellows and the blues, because I think that's really nice. Now, what I want to do, while I'm letting that little bit dry for a minute, what I wanted to do is to show you the contrast between the two in relation to watering it, not watering it down, but using the brush to apply the colour as opposed to going in direct. So if I take the plate, I'm just going to pop it into there. Where's that scrap of parchment? And what I'm going to do, let's just attach it. Just do this as an experiment with me if you want to. Okay, what we're going to do is just going to trace out this one twice. So I'm going to grab my Groovi, not my Groovi, my tumble dry sheet. I'm going to go with my number 1 tool and I'm going to trace out the design. Okay, it doesn't take long. Just let the tool fall into the groove, and we don't have to do all of it. I just want to do some petals maybe, just so that you can see the difference between the two different types of techniques when colouring with the pens. Okay, right, I'm just going to do that bit, and then let's move that over, and then we'll repeat the same process. Because it is, I don't know, speak properly, Paul. Properly. It does amaze me the different look that you can get with the same pen, but just a different application. Okay. Right. So I've got, what do they look like? Eyelashes. Oh, there you go. Looking for some false eyelashes. And then you've got a Pico, cut them out and stick them on your eye. No, you haven't got to do that. Okay. So let's put my Groovi tab over here. So I'm going to go with the bright yellow, and I'm going to go direct onto the parchment. And I'm just going to colour in onto the back directly. Okay. but they still have a fine enough nib that I can get right into the point of those petals. Okay, so that is direct. I'm going to scribble some more out onto my mix mat, put my lid on, take my water brush, and now I'm going to colour in using this technique, and I can automatically see that there is a difference in the vibrancy of the colour. Okay, nice and steady. For me, I love this type of colouring in because there's no skill required. So even if you're new to parching and you're thinking, oh, I want to give some colour and go, this is a really good way of colouring in and getting a nice look. So should we turn it over and have a look at the big reveal? Let's pop it on the pink because it's a larger piece. So this one here was the direct to the parchment, and then this one here was using the water brush. Now I can go back in and intensify. Let me hold it up to the camera here. There we go. You can see that a lot better, can't you? Really, where we going? Yeah. So the one at the top, where we going? So the one at the top was the pen direct onto the parchment, and the one at the bottom, that one there, was using the water brush. So it's a very subtle change in brightness or tone of the same color. Okay. Now, if I want to, because I can take the darker yellow or orange. And if I try and put some darkness or just add some sort of shade, I'm just going to put some flicks just down the side of the petals. And we'll see what that does. Come back over the overhead. Just put some. Now if I scribble out onto my mix mat, I'm going to go with my other brush that's got the darker colour on. So I can even mix the two colours together here. So maybe if I wanted to go for a grey, obviously I could put the blue and the yellow together. But if I just want a little bit of subtle depth to it, then I can do this as well. How are we all doing? Who's colouring along with me? Who's gonna? Anybody colouring, or you're all just watching and chilling? Okay. Should we turn it over and have a lookie? We've got the pink. I think. Okay. Wrong camera. There we go. So the one at the top. Hang on, let me get the angle right. Where am I going? Pull yourself together, Paul. Okay. So there we go. One at the top, you can see the dark areas are more prominent. They stand out a lot more, don't they? But then the bottom one is more of a softer, subtle tone. Okay. So you've got choices. And that's what I love about working with parchment, that believe it or not, there's so many choices on what you can create and the different techniques that you can apply. And I'm just doing it very, very basic. You've got experts like Barbara, fantastic at colouring, onto parchment, onto stamps, onto anything. I mean, look at her pottery. I mean, some people have it in them. Linda Williams with her colouring in, Frances Knott, her traditional painting. The design team all have their own little tips and tricks on how to do different things. And I know the design team on the Clarity Matters blog have covered colouring in over the past. So it's a vast library if you can go back and look. But if you're new to it and you just want to give it a go, for me personally, what I tend to do is I'll practice on a piece of parchment first. Okay. If I'm not sure whether my colours are going to work together, or whether I need to go direct to the parchment, or whether I want that softer look, practice on a piece of scrap parchment and then maybe write some notes on it. I mean, I can go back and write on this one and say, this was direct parchment, this was using the water brush, or this was using a blending nib, or this was using such and such. And then put it in a little folder. Maybe you've got a folder for your colouring. Maybe you've got one for white work. Pop it in there and it becomes like a little library of little tips and tricks that, and then you think, oh, right, I want to colour this in, but I want to use the pens. What's going to be the best way? Let me go back and have a look to see what results I'll get. Write a note of the colours that you've used. Barb's always doing that on the back of her artwork. If she's using different Pergolina pens or Pergocolour pens or the polychromos, I say always, 9 times out of 10, she'll write on the back so that if she needs to go back and recreate it, she knows what colours she's used to create it. So that's another good way of sort of learning as well. Now, if I take, where are my, I know where they are. They're over just to the side of me. Let me just grab. I'm going to use my blending nibs in my lovely little storage container. Okay, so if I take, let's just take a couple out. Okay, really, look, you can see, you can put your used ones in there. So you can have one of these for your watercolors, you can have one for your oils, nibs. I've actually, these have all been, no, yeah, those have been used. Okay, pop those back in. Helps if you have a clean one. So now what I can do, let's come in on this camera, don't need to sort of blend it in. But look, you'll see how it picks up the colour on the nib. See, with the pencils, when you're working with the Dorso oil, sometimes you need to sort of just blend it out just to get a smoother finish. I mean, I could even use the nibs on the mix mat to pick up, to apply the colour as well. Let's go with the darker one. Yeah, see, that works just as well as the water brush. Without the water, I have to add. And then let's see if this will move. This may not move now because I've gone direct. But let's have a look. No, isn't that weird? Not weird in a weird way, but it's weird that this will still move, but direct. So I think it's a good thing to know that you can't move it once you've gone direct to parchment. So therefore, if you're going to colour in, then you just need to be aware of your colour application and the colour tones. And this is just what I've just learnt myself in this respect. Now I wonder, that's really annoying me, that mark. I wonder, I can't remember whether it does or not. Let's give it a go. I'm going to bring in, I always go to the wrong end of my tool organizer. There we go. I can't remember whether, pull your chair up. Let's try it on this. I'm going to try it on here. Can't remember whether it does remove it. No, it doesn't, does it? Well, it does, but it leaves a slight hue. So this is the double-ended eraser. This was my scrap. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, It does. Pink, not so good, but definitely the white. So this little bugbear that's annoying me, where I caught the parchment, just got to work out what side it's on. Not that side. That's it. It can stop annoying me now. Okay, there was a mark there. So that's okay. The other thing I wanted to show you, direct parchment using a brush or a blending nib. Okay, if I now take a bit of kitchen towel, doesn't remove it all, but it does lift some off. So what you could do is just blot it. Okay, so it's dry now. So then when I come to turn it over, I can go in and reapply and intensify as well. What's that? Jane says, stick a butterfly on it. Oh, what are you sticking a butterfly on, Jane? Or should I not ask? Oh, you're on about my line, aren't you? That's annoying me. I could put a little butterfly on it, but I think it's gone now. Oh dear. I've just clocked the time. I can't believe. Probably because I waffled too much at the beginning. Okay, so let's go back. So based on what I showed you, do I want to go direct or do I want to go? Where's that bit of paper gone? Do I want to go more subtle? See, I think, let's have a look. I think I probably want to go a little bit more intense. What do you think? A little bit more intense or a little bit more subtle? Helen had a tidy up yesterday and found her missing eraser pencils. How many did you find though, Helen? Okay, so on this one down here, I'm going to go intense. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lean on my Groovi guard. And for me, I'm starting at the tip of the petals and I'm just coming in to the middle. And I'm just doing each one individually. Okay, and then on what I don't want complete the same sort of color, so I'm just dotting the middle part. So what else have I got to tell you this lovely week? I can't believe it's April. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I got carried away. Okay, what else we got coming up? So tomorrow on the new Create and Craft, Barb, she gave you a sort of a teaser. She's been teasing you for the past couple of weeks now over on Barbara's blog, barbaragrayblog.com, with it's a collaboration between Barbara and Dave. And it's the Clarity Cut Card Kits. I have to be careful how I say that. Clarity Card Cut Kits. Yes. 6 beautiful designs that Barbara's been giving you sneaky peeks of over on her blog. So if you want to find out what's going on, make sure you check out Barbara's blog, barbaragrayblog.com. Always full of ideas, inspiration, hints, tips, bits and pieces, what's going on at Clarity, what's going on at Grey Towers, what's coming up in the Shack, what's coming up on TV, Matters of the Heart. There's always something interesting to read. So yes, so tomorrow on createandcraft.com, which is the new home of the craft store, 6 o'clock and 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, Barbara will be on with the one-day special. And then on Thursday, for those of you shackers who follow Barbara in the Shack, will know there's no Shack on Thursday, but you can join Barbara live on Create and Craft at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. with lots of hints, tips, ideas. I've been creating the display boards to show what you get in each kit. It's taken me hours. There's so much in them. It really is. And yeah, I think you will really, really enjoy and like this pure collaboration. Really is. Yeah. It's taken months and months of preparation, the manufacturing, the design, the prototypes. But I'm sure it will all be worth it when you see it. So that's createandcraft.com tomorrow, 6 p.m, 9 p.m, and then Thursday at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So that's that. That's the upcoming TV shows. Barb will be back in the Shack with you on Monday at 10 a.m. And I think you're gonna that beautiful floral sprays that you've been doodling. I say doodling. To me, that's not a doodle. That is pure art. It really is. Okay, so I think you're adding the background and some more shading to that design if you've been shacking along with Barb. What else have we got? If you visit our website, claritystamp.com, and you go to the What's New section, I'm sure Gilly will pop a link up, you'll see that we have our tickets available for our open days in June. Really looking forward to it. It's been so long. Really looking forward to that. 2 days of pure demonstrations, make and takes. We've got the lovely Linda Williams, Tina Cox, JC Davidson, Sam Crow, Leonie Pujol, Lou Withers. Apologising for anyone else. I've got Dee Paramore, Barbara Gray, Paul Church. I think that was everyone. If I have, Jane Telford. How can I forget Jane with that pink hair? They'll be making takes, hourly raffles, refreshments available. And you know what? Do you know how much it is? £8 per day for all of that. Okay. £8 for a room full of creativity, artwork, inspiration. That's mad. That's really, really mad. Lots of parking just off the M20 down in Kent. So easy to get to, easy to find. It's great to see. So we've got the Friday and we also have the Saturday. And I know from past experience that many of you that attend, you make a weekend of it, don't you? You come for the Friday and the Saturday and then maybe head home on the, depending where you are. There's loads of hotels nearby. If you go onto our website, you've got the postcode, which is ME206AH, and you search for hotels. There's Premier Inns, there's travel lodges, there's like Beefeater type places where you can stay. Some of you may be into Airbnbs. There's bound to be plenty in the area, because it's not that far from Folkestone. So a lot of people, if they're traveling maybe to go over to Europe, they'll travel down, stay at Airbnbs or hotels. So plenty of hotels nearby if you want to really make a weekend of it. Because if you've come such a distance and then you get there for the day and you think, oh, because you'll never see in a day everything you want to see. You never will. I remember the first time I went to the NEC years and years and years ago when I was crafting, and I booked a one-day ticket, and it was probably about a 3-hour drive from Kent to Birmingham. I think it's about that, maybe a little bit more. And I got up early, drove up there, got there when the doors opened. First off, it was just like taking it all in, all these stands and everything else. And it got to about 2-3 o'clock in the day, and I hadn't even done half the haul because I kept stopping to watch and stopping to watch. So I wished at that point I'd done a 2-day ticket and stayed overnight somewhere or whatever. So I know from experience many of you will be there for the 2 days, because there's so much to enjoy and to watch, and it's so much fun. When Barb gets up on the chair and she does her hourly raffles, it is just so much fun. So as I said, these are available on the website. If you're a Create and Craft member, Create and Craft Club member, you can buy them direct from Create and Craft. You can ring our office and purchase them, speak to the lovely Janine or Pete, whoever answers the phone. They'll be more than happy to help you out. But June, it's not that far away. Look, 9 till 4. We do refreshments where you can buy a sandwich or a hot drink, cold drink. And yeah, it's been a long time. And I think now is the time. And yeah, it'll be good. Ken says the amazing raffle prizes. I know. How are we going to recognise Jane Telford? That's a good question, Ken. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll all have to have name badges so we can recognise who we are. But the lovely Jane. Josie's there as well. Did I say Josie? Apologies. So, okay, let me do it this way. On Groovi, Linda Williams, Josie Davison, Tina Cox. Mixed Media, Stampy, Artie, Barbara Gray, Leonie Pujol, Dee Paramore, Sam Crow. Glynis does the snip clinic. So if you're tuning in, you think, oh, I really want to give Pico Cut a go, but I don't know. Glynis is fantastic at showing you how to Pico Cut. Absolutely amazing. Then we'll have the lovely Lou Withers and Jane Telford, her pink hair, doing make and takes. What am I doing? Can't remember now. It's all written down on a piece of paper. I'll worry about it when I get there. So yeah. So if you're interested in coming along, £8 for the day. It's well worth it. It really, really is. So I can't believe it is 11 o'clock. Well, it's got 11 o'clock. So let me just show you what I've done. Where's my little bit of paper? Yeah, it definitely needed to be the more intense colour, I think. See what you think. If I come in on the overhead now, I haven't stuck it all down. Definitely. So even if I swap the colours around, so I've got the yellow. Yeah, definitely. So what I'm going to do before next week, I'm going to do the same at the top. I'm going to go in and make it brighter, make it more vibrant. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So when we come back next week, what we're going to do, we're going to finish off this piece. I'm going to show you how to attach it to your paper, your card, etc., etc. And then what I thought we would do, we're going to go back to Queen Elizabeth and we're going to make a bookmark. Okay, so we've got the Pergamano bookmarks. So what you're going to need next week is a piece of parchment that is 2 inches slim. And all it is just I've taken a piece of A5 parchment and I've just taken a 2-inch strip off the side. So next week, we're going to use Queen Elizabeth to make a lovely bookmark. And we've got these fantastic bookmark sleeves available. Some of you may already have them. To protect our work, it just fits in perfectly. You don't want it exactly the same size as your bookmark sleeve because you'd really struggle to get it in there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to finish off, we're going to mount, and then if you want to send it to someone, if you want to send it to Clarity Towers, then you can. Or if you want to just send it to a friend, you can do that. Or maybe you want to keep it. Maybe this is the first time you've created a piece of Josie's lacework. And you think, oh, I'm not getting rid of that. I'm not giving that to someone. I've just spent 5 weeks doing that with Paul. Then the choice is yours. So that's where we're heading next week. I hope you can join Barbara tomorrow at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then Thursday at 10 and 2. Then Monday, back in the shack with Barb. I'll be in the room answering any questions. Thank you to the lovely Gilly. Thank you to the design team that have been popping up, answering questions, everything else. And more importantly, thank you all for joining me again this week. I will see you next Tuesday for another episode of Groovy Tuesday. Take care now, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.